this is kind of a confession. Anybody that knows me is aware that I'm right-brained, which means that I tend to gravitate to things that are artsy-crafty, creative, exploratory, and not mechanical, sequential. I mean, I can start thinking about something over here, and 2 minutes later I'm over here, and then I can morph them together. But doing things in an orderly fashion is not my forte. Trust me. And why I would not want to change being right-brained bilateral, meaning that almost everything I'm right-brained, and some things I can get things done. I would not want to change it, but because that personality type, I procrastinate a lot with things that I don't want to do. Things I want to do, I can get those things done rather quickly. But I needed to find a new web administrator. And I did not want to do, the sequential thing, email them first and doing this and doing this and doing this and doing this. And so my knee-jerk reaction was to try to talk my older web administrator that I had for half a dozen years, just to take my web page over for several weeks. Maybe next 5 or 10 years. Maybe she was perfectly honest with me. She just said, I don't have the time. And then she sent me 2 links to web pages that are basically used as search engines for people who need to find a job on web pages, and people who need jobs done on web pages, they can link up. And that is so antithetical to what I really enjoy doing, in spite of that, I knew that I had to get into gear. I had wasted about a week and a half, 2 weeks, not getting engaged. And so I started filling out information, sending it to people. They'd get it back, and I'd go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I was doing that for several days, and I came up with about a handful of people that were, interested. And so I just was scanning through the latest emails that I'd gotten from them. And then it happened. Talk about serendipitous moments. I got this response from a young lady, and her name is Sandy. She's from Pakistan. She came to America. She works in California, and she emails me through this search engine of companies that find web administrators for you, because she's in Stockholm, Sweden, helping a company get their internet service up and functioning. And you know what she said? She said, I want to be your web administrator, because you are noble. I have been called many things in my life, but noble has not been one of them. But I understood what she was saying. I had given her, and it wasn't premeditated. I just said, here are some interesting things I'm doing on my webpage. One of them was something called We Are Family. And it is my effort to raise $500,000 to improve internet access to 2 schools where my 3 granddaughters attend, and get 1,200 laptops, 1,250 laptops for the students in those two schools. Those students are essentially my extended family to my family in Tangier and Myanmar. And Sandy read that and said, essentially, that's a noble effort, and I want the job. I wrote back to Sandy and said, you're hired. Not because you called me noble, but because I call you noble. Because of the things that are important to me are important to you. Myanmar is an emerging country. There isn't a great deal of money. There isn't a great deal of many things that we take as commonplace. But there is within that country a drive to survive, to grow, and to mature. And I can see it not just in my family there. TT and her two younger sisters and her parents. They are exceptional. But there are many, many other people that I ran into on both my trips to Myanmar in the last 4.5 years that are that way. That emerging nation, particularly the younger generation, needs somebody to help them. And I needed a web administrator to help me so that I can get money, so I can get laptops and improved internet access to at least 2 different schools up in Tangier, up near Inlay Lake. Somebody who was noble met somebody else who was noble. And their efforts are going to be noble. Period. New paragraph. Read this essay, and then look at We Are Family on the index page for articles, the second critical issue on the right-hand side of the index page for articles. Read We Are Family. Going to Myanmar 4.5 years ago on winter break from teaching began the transformation within me personally. I went back there just 4.5 months ago, or 6 months ago, or 7 months ago. And I'll tell you, if I saw the light when I went to Myanmar the first time, the light is blinding now. But that's about me. But come back with me when I raise $500,000. Come back with me and see where that money is going to be spent, not only with laptops, but also improving internet access. And it will change your life. On Wednesday, this past Wednesday, there was an article about TT. the young lady who I met 4.5 years ago in Inlay Lake, who is my granddaughter. TT and Sandy remind me of each other. Sandy is simply an older version of TT, or TT is a younger version of Sandy. The same kind of caring personality. It is haunting. And I said this in that essay, I'm going to tell you also. My 2 trips to Myanmar, what used to be called Burma, changed who I am. Not that I was going in the wrong direction and then I thought, oh, no, I know what the right direction is. That wasn't the change. That was not the transformation. The transformation was that I was, back in the 60s, I was driven in the civil rights and anti-war and everything. And I thought I was in gear. I'm a different person today. Not that I'm changed my attitude. It's the acceleration and the drive behind who I am now. I know my clock is ticking. I've danced with death twice. And the 2 dances with death and my 2 trips to Myanmar changed my life. Changed my life in the intensity and the drive to do what I need to be done, what I think needs to be done in the time that I have remaining. And there's nothing that is going to stop me. Period, new paragraph. If I were you, I would get involved in We Are Family. If I'm a different person, it can happen to you. I want to change an emerging nation by changing some of the next generation, by getting them a better education because of the internet. And the only way they can do that is with laptops and improved internet. And all that we're doing is supplying the means for them to grow and to gain. And you can be involved in that process. And there will be more noble people because of it. Thank you for listening to this long introduction to my essay, and I appreciate your time. But think about We Are Family.